Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel Twist and Turn with Neville. Today, the 12th of October 2024. This is the day when those people who were executed in Lusikisiki are laid to rest today. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Eastern Cape violence that happened recently, which has made it to the news, and let's get to it. Today we are delving into two shocking, tragic incidents that have shaken the Eastern Cape in the past few weeks. First, the mass murder of the 18 people that were killed in Lusikisiki, and then that of the 6 CPF members who were gunned down while they were doing their patrols. And talking about these cases, all that it boils down to, it shows how the country's justice system, in terms of the Firearms Control Act, in terms of the justice, how it has failed in so many ways. Because if you look at the whole thing, how it happened, okay, I understand it has been an execution. People lost their lives in a senseless manner because someone decided to take a weapon and take out their lives. But if you look at it holistically, you'll realize that it highlights the dysfunctions that we have in South Africa as a country, because we are plagued by corruption. Largely we are plagued by corruption, and some of these weapons, they cross through borders. Some of these weapons, they are stolen from people who had guns, people who have guns. Some of these weapons, they are taken from security personnel or the law enforcement officers, and it's a fact. If we were to look at the statistics of the weapons that were lost by the SAPS members alone, and then look at the weapons that were lost by the security personnel alone, and then look at the weapons that were lost either through robberies or house break-ins, people who own weapons, how those weapons disappear and end up in circulation and find themselves in the wrong hands of the people who do not even qualify to hold those guns. That's how we have this problem, because it starts kancane. If we can count all those statistics from the time everything began up to now, that's when we'll realize, man, we have a problem in this country. And some of those things, for them to be addressed, they won't even see the light of day until such things happen, which is a very sad moment to which people should lose their lives in such a manner. The police say that they are there for us, which must protect and everything, but at the end of the day, even them, when you look at it holistically, even them, they do need someone to protect them, because the criminals in this country have become so brave in a way that even when the police try to do their job to execute an arrest, they fight back with weapons. We don't know how true is that, but in most cases that's what we get, because each and every story that makes it to the news, all you're gonna hear is the criminals shot first and then the police retaliated, of which I'm not going to debate about and talk much about. I also want to talk about how police handle such situations. It's sad, but at the end of the day, it has to be done, because as a police officer, you cannot wait for someone to take out your life before you execute your job in a way that you're supposed to do it. Okay, enough about that. Let's get to this. Today we are delving into two shocking, tragic incidents that have taken Eastern Cape in the past few weeks. First, the mass murder of 18 people in Lusikisiki, and then the killing of 6 CPF patrollers in Qumbu. These events have left communities devastated and raised serious questions about safety, law enforcement, and justice. Let's get into the details of these two cases, starting with the Lusikisiki mass shooting. On September 28, 2024, 18 people were brutally gunned down in Ngobozana village, Lusikisiki. Among the dead were mostly women, shot in their homes in a targeted massacre that has horrified the nation. The man accused of this heinous crime is Siphosoxolo Myekethe. There is a picture that I did receive. I don't know whether it's him or not, because I don't want to be putting some picture here and only to find out that it's not the correct guy. A convicted murderer who was out on parole at the time of the attack. Just listen to this. He was out on parole and then he commits such a crime. And I've been reading another article where it was it's being said that even the way okay, he was out on parole, and looking at the crime that he was arrested for as he was going out on parole, it's because the crime involved murder. And now here the very same guy is out doing the very same thing that he was arrested for, of which he came out on parole. It doesn't, that's a very serious thing that the law enforcement need to look at, the DCS, and there still needs to be some serious talks about how this whole thing happened. What makes this case even more troubling is that Myekethe was released on parole for a previous murder conviction. This is what I was talking about. His arrest has raised serious concerns about the country's parole system and whether enough is being done to monitor high-risk offenders. On October 9, Myekethe appeared in court facing 18 counts of murder and illegal possession of an AK-47. He is currently being held in custody, but shockingly, he plans to apply for bail. Vele, that one we know for sure, it's not going to succeed, because the first thing that the NPA does when you're arrested for such crimes is that they're going to oppose your bail. That's the first thing that they're going to do. They're going to oppose your bail, and going forward, it's going to be a struggle, and it's going to be, which is another thing that we should be talking about. You know, the court system in South Africa is, one might look at it and think the court system is failing us simply because there's a bottleneck there. The police are doing their job. They are arresting criminals and everything. And then the problem starts when everything gets into the court system going forward. That's when we see a slag, and I don't know how to put it, man, but that's where we see izinto zihamba slow khona. Kula sizibona izinto zihamba slow khona mase sifika lapha ecourt, because it's not as easy as it is when the police are arresting these criminals. It's difficult when they have been arrested. Now they have to be processed via the court system. And another thing, the justice system, I think there are so many things that I feel needs to be changed, like the constitution in terms of the rights of the people. There are so many things that I feel they need to change. I'm not going to address them on this video. And the justice system, we find someone who commits a heinous crime like this one, and then when they get sentenced, all those sentences, they will be running concurrently instead of, but I guess it's because I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, I'm nothing, so I'm just like a normal person like the next guy on the street. Let's get back to the story. He is currently being held in custody, but shockingly, he plans to apply for bail. We know it's not going to succeed. The prosecution is firmly opposing this, given his history of escaping from custody and the brutality of the massacre. The community has been left in fear, with many calling for greater protection and justice for the victims. The next court hearing is set for October 15, which is today. It's the 12th, Saturday 15. I think it's maybe Monday or Tuesday, somewhere there, yeah. And we will bring you updates as the case progresses. And just a week later, another horrific event unfolded in the nearby town of Qumbu. 6 community policing forum members were gunned down during a patrol in the Godini area on October 6, 2024. This month alone, these things happened, not like this month alone. The other one happened last month, but because it's so fresh, weeks apart, and then this one happens again, where a large number of people lose their life because someone decided to open fire. We don't know the reason. We don't know, I don't know the reason. I don't know why would anyone decide to kill people, but it is suspected that it's because of stock theft, which is, the CPF members were working to combat stock theft, which has been a major issue in the area. They were ambushed while on duty, leading to the deaths of 6 patrollers and the injury of others. It's a devastating blow for a community that relied heavily on these volunteers to help them keep crime under control. National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemula visited Qumbu in the aftermath of the attack and assured the public that a special task force has been deployed to investigate the killings. There are suspicions that the attack could be linked to the CPF's effort against stock theft, but further investigation is needed. These two incidents highlight a broader issue of gun violence in South Africa, especially in rural areas where illegal firearms are abundant. Both cases are under investigation, but they serve as a grim reminder of the risk facing local law enforcement and community policing forum. The violence not only threatens the lives of the volunteers, but also destabilizes the sense of security in community across the region. As these investigations continue, the families of the victims and the entire Eastern Cape region are left grappling with grief and uncertainty. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the state of law enforcement and parole in South Africa? What are your thoughts on this? Should there be more stringent measures in place to prevent such tragedies? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on these cases and other major stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll be following these developments closely, so stay tuned for more.